managed to capture in this game that really makes it complete. I think that's good. You guys can see on the screen there a second ago, we've got USF UKF from Caribes to OKW Austere from Theodosis and Thanatos. So you guys know Theodosis and Thanatos. They are very good players in the 1v1 scene, and they make a pretty exceptional 2v2 team when they join forces. Love to see diversity in all the factions as well. It gives us plenty to talk about whilst we look at Poltava. Bacon, I'm going to let you do some discussion at the start of this, because we had a talk yesterday and there's some very interesting points on the map. So after I do an intro,
yeah, that's no problem at all.
Then yeah, let's go straight into that. Are you the slow loader, I assume?
I'm always a slow loader, even with settings dropped just for the occasion.
Do you actually have to drop your settings? That's tragic. I am sorry to hear that. Okay, to be honest, you've got time anyway, because we've got 3 minutes till the game starts, so...
Oh.
Yeah. So, okay, let's have a look at the map. Is it common for them to start occupied? Nice, okay. So, Bacon, tell us a little bit about the map design here.
Right, so Poltava, or Poltava, I imagine is a very broken pronunciation of it. I know the guy who makes this will probably kill me for it, but hey. This is what I've considered to be an exceptionally rural map. Everything about it screams yellow cover, wooden buildings. There's lots and lots of fencing around, so lots of open engagements between fields. But the entire map is split by one large roadway. Pretty much goes from one base to another. So vehicle play here is going to be really fast to the center, but slow pretty much to the outskirts, where the other VPs and the fuel points are. Design in this one in particular is probably what saves it above everything else, because the buildings have some very significant weaknesses. The distance of view from each window is not as good as you might think.
We'll
so
have
I'm
a look
intrigued
at
to
that.
see how.
Yeah. So just to point out for everybody for what Bacon's saying here, so negative cover here, you can see where the road is. That's this stretch that basically goes from base to base here. The ones on the outside are not classed as roads, just based on cover type there. So still a lot of what looks like accessible areas, but the road is going to be the kind of speed powerhouse for tanks to dominate the map, which is kind of cool, to be honest, because resources are on the outside of the map. So center is going to be important for vehicle play, especially light vehicle play. When we get into the game, and we'll have a look at those buildings, as you said, because we looked at this, it's very interesting. I actually think it's good, because building to building play in this game can be weird or long.
Yes.
Yeah, so this actually, when we looked at this yesterday, actually kind of negates that gameplay style happening, but you still get the utilization of a building and all the benefits and sight that comes with it. Sight here is incredibly interesting, so we'll check out with the fog of war when those buildings do become occupied. But 20 seconds to go. First game of the semi-finals, Caribes versus White Hydra. Predictions, Bacon?
You see, I don't know our other team here. Theodosius and Thanatos, I'm well versed with, but I'm intrigued to see how they play. I don't know at all.
Wait for that. Any second now.
I want it.
Oh, it should go like -10, shouldn't it, really? On the countdown timer. Any second now.
Well.
The thing, I don't want to start talking, Bacon, because I know as soon as I do, the units are going to start moving, and then I'll have to break whatever. There we go. I think we're finally in. There we go. Welcome everybody to the first game of the semi-finals. It is of course the 2v2 Cup for new maps that will be coming into the game. Remember, you guys can vote on this as well as the top 8 teams will get a vote on it too. So lots of new content to show you. This is going to be the first time that myself and Bacon maybe see some of these maps. Definitely the first time I've seen a lot of them, but I have had a chance to look through a few. Playing as the Axis from the south side, we have Theodosis as OKW and Thanatos as Austere. I'm going to let you do the allies.
So on the ally side, we've got... do I really want to call him Race?
Yeah.
Race and Aiden Zach, who... they're pretty much unknowns to me. Do you know them at all?
I don't, actually. Aiden Zach, I think I have come across before. And with no disrespect, nothing memorable in terms of a competitive scene player. So, you know, not to say anything about them in terms of skill level, but I haven't seen anything on the competitive scene that they have done. Now, let's just check out, because we already have MG in the building here, so we can have a look at the site. A little bit distorted because the Pioneers have just come in giving that extra bit of sight needed. But as we discussed yesterday, the MG here can only really see to the road, which means you don't have that.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have that building-to-building interactivity that you normally see in a lot of maps.
Small wooden fences in front of the buildings are the best places to set up your squads because they will be able to see the enemies across the road. But when you're sat in that building, you can't see very far.
We might be able to see it here actually for the Brits. Yeah, you can see the sight line there. No vision on the other house, but still protecting the VP. So the building's very, very interesting here, and also going to be very interesting to see how the factions utilize them in the start games. Early control, we do have resources getting locked down very quickly for Theodosis and Thanatos. White Hydra are going to take fuel and munitions way earlier than the allies. So trying to get themselves off to a good start straight from the get-go. They're also in the lead on territory points, so you know, check out those resource incomes.
Weakness, especially with a Brit player involved, that they're going to be slower to get that many units out of the field. And with 3 units, one of them, the MG, locked down in the building trying to hold the centre road. He's just kind of sat there doing nothing at the moment because he's not capping, he can't.
Just going to show the fog of war here. Very difficult because the Pioneers are there, but actually this fence completely cuts the vision for the MGs. So this is another situation where line of sight, and this map actually I think utilizes true sight very, very well.
Absolutely.
It's very beneficial to get a light vehicle here. Like the Kubel will perform amazingly because it's able to break all of the fencing. And we'll be able to open up those buildings so that you can fire from place to place. And we might see the Kubel do that here, and I think if we do, provided it doesn't tear down the building housing its own grenadiers, then we could see some
I'm just
interesting...
scrolling to see... I'm scrolling to see whether or not there was a window missing and he's just making one, but no, he just wants to smash the corner off.
Yeah,
of course, when it comes down to the very early vehicle play, OKW got a massive advantage here because they can open up whatever parts of the map they really want to. So it will be interesting to see.
A very weird situation. There we go. He hops his rifleman out of the building and hits the retreat button, but that was very, very late. Mortar had been firing on that for quite a while, so don't want to be seeing mistakes like that early on in the game because, again, hopping out on the wrong side of the building, low health squad. Helps when it is.
Could be costly.
Yeah.
Another thing with this map that should be mentioned as well, the units that are retreating from the very centre of the map could end up taking this negative cover route home. Being chased by even a Kubel wagon can do some very serious damage. Oh, and over on the building just across the road where the Brit MG was, I've seen exactly what I hoped to see from Thanatos. He's got a flamethrower going through the site blocking fence. So that building is pretty much negated now. Anybody who jumps in that is taking a big risk.
I really like that actually because earlier in the game, those flamethrowers with the ground attack, of course, where you are able to break the nice grenade from the Tommies. Yeah, being able to ground attack with the flamethrower on a map where true sight is working this way is hugely beneficial. So they're doing a very, very good job, but we don't see much pressure from the allies right now. In fact, they haven't really I haven't really pressured that much. They're actually building defenses to protect their fuel, so I think they're actually worried about Axis aggression at the start.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, with the fighting position already in place and the MG locked down, they probably aren't aware of the fact that there's already 2 mortars on Thanatos' side of the map. As soon as he realises that, it might be in trouble.
We have a lot of static play here from Race at the moment. I don't think he really knows what he's going to be doing with his riflemen and echelons, but either way, he's trying to get some work out of the mortar, and he's actually smoking the MG, which means, here we go, we might start to see activity from these units. We see frag grenades have just been tacked up as well, so we should see one of those hit the wooden house. In fact, he's going to run straight past it.
Yes. He's going for the VP, see if he can neutralise that at the very least while there's an opportunity, but I don't think he anticipated the building on the other side also being owned by his opponent.
That's unfortunate. I mean, he will have access to smoke rifle grenades. So he can still work this if he wants to use smoke from the mortar, but oh! Thanatos wipes the mortar with his own.
They're going to have to be careful to grab that, otherwise they're going to have 3 against them. Here that rifleman squad is having to run back through negative. They have got to be so careful. Dragon's gone down on the northwest side. He's contesting that munitions point constantly. Looks like they're trying to keep on top of that.
Okay, so this is interesting to see. We just watched the rifleman throw a grenade on that house, and you could see how much damage it did. So I think, is it 2 grenades to destroy these buildings?
Depends on when a shot lands. If a grenade manages to land right in the center of a building like that, 2 will take it down very, very fast. If it only clips the side of it or doesn't go quite through the window well enough, you might be able to get away with 3. Just.
Got a captain hitting the field.
It's really interesting, like, because a lot of people won't know these mechanics as it exist in the game, because there just isn't the knowledge support in Company of Heroes that tells you all of these things. You discover it by maybe watching in streams like this, but a lot of people won't know that information. So guys, pay attention, because Monolithic Bacon will tell you things about these maps that that will infuriate other players.
I don't know much, but so that northern or northwest building across the road that the Brits are now running past, that's taken 3 grenades because it looks like the first one didn't actually land too far inside. So just a bit of a saving grace there. They might be able to use it a little bit longer, but it's obviously a big risk. And
well, gonna see the AEC's first light vehicle that we've seen on the field. Well, obviously apart from the Kugel, that's coming in, instantly met with the Raketen. Volks could go in for a Faust, but the Panzer Fusiliers should get there first. And that's going to be taken down straight away. No attempt to reverse. Damage ending, and AC is straight out of the game. A huge fuel investment, really, to lose in such a short space of time.
Very lost there, which is a bit of a shame. It looks like Thanatos has locked down the 3rd mortar, the one that was stolen from the USF players, so they've got some indirect fire problems now. They've got to be very, very careful about how much they bunch up their units.
It's just really, because of the center, because Axis have managed to lock this down. I mean, they've got the MGs, they've got the indirect fire, they're keeping to long-range engagements with the Panzer Fusiliers and the Volksgrenadiers, so they're actually just, you know, allies aren't really producing anything that is going to be able to deal with the buildings. And that's the big thing, really, because if we see those buildings removed, the center is going to become a very different play area.
Absolutely, yeah. The amount of shot blockers and pathfinding blockers that we've got, that's going to make that center area just a complete catastrophe for flanking vehicles. Trying to move onto the eastern fuel point, see if they can get that kept on their side. They have, and it's still there, but those units clumped up so closely, those mortars will make short work of them.
The mortars have been doing really well. I think we will check the kills in this. We've got a 4-1-4. Not bad, really. I mean, they've just done a lot of work. They've done a lot of structure damage as well.
It's harassment, if nothing else. And here comes a Brit blob up north. Same problems, I suppose. They've just got to be careful. But they are finally pushing back those Panzer Fusiliers. They've got their Q-43 upgrade straight away, and they were doing some serious damage earlier.
The HQ has been upgraded.
What have we got here?
Medium armor and
Battle Phase 2 for Thanatos. we're probably going to see him rush out medium vehicles, right? I mean, why wait? Your opponent
that's it.
isn't going to have anything heavy or probably even a medium to contest straight away at the start. So why not get that advantage? I think we'll probably see him actually go to tier 3 with the battle phase 2. We're going to see Tommy's now trying to creep up on the MG42 in the building. Grenade goes in, but a squad of Tommy's goes down to the MG. Great grenade.
It's very, very good, yeah. Oh, and here's a retreating squad going past. Oh, that was close.
Okay, so tier 4 coming down now. We're going to have double fuel for Axis. This game probably isn't going to go on for too much longer. And well played so far by White Hydra, because they dominated so many more resources at the start of the game. And one thing you really have to consider in this game, which a lot of people don't, is the value of strategic points versus your big resource points. Because in a lot of cases, it's actually better to have more strat points than to have, you know, like the big fuel or the big munitions. You know, just because of what it's actually giving you. It's not far off per minute in terms of figures.
Absolutely, yeah.
So actually capping that very, very early, they put themselves in a very, very good resource lead. They got upgrades quickly. The Panzer Fusiliers instantly, you know, get the G43s when they come on the field. They've got a very strong army. But look at this great grenade there from Race.
Race is making some minor little novice mistakes there. Things like rolling a Stuart in straight away within range of Volks, and already the engine's gone. He's just sent 2 squads back to base with only 1 unit left, 1 model on each of them. I mean, having 1 squad jump in the way of them on their retreat pattern, they would have been done for. And the man's only got field 5 if you include his med truck.
Oh, grenade a little bit too late on that building, but it is finally dealt with. Theodosis bringing in the Panzer Fusiliers to try and clear up the Brit presence as they retreat. They need to get into green cover quickly to get the advanced rate of fire. The Panzer Fusiliers are going to be so fast, and they have access to the grenades, which means they are going to be able to clear the Brits out. There goes the first one. They're still avoiding the Brit mortar pit, which is just furiously laying down barrages. It's a nice little push.
A bunker right in the middle of the street, and he's just gone straight for the MG upgrade. He knows that without those buildings, he needs some other way to lock down this negative cover, and it's doing exactly that. So this sector is completely Axis occupied.
It just makes sense.
It being left was undefended.
I guess because the map is cut kind of diagonally. If you occupy the middle, it kind of reminds me of Minsk in a way. Because if you occupy the middle, you lean left to right as needed, with no major problems. And this kind of feels like that.
That's a grenade jumping onto the Vickers squad right behind the mortar pit. Mortar pit's taking a good hammering.
Yeah, here you go, incendiary rounds from the MG. Plus you've got 3 mortars firing down it. That's going to go down very, very quickly. Tommies are not going to stand any chance against incendiary rounds.
Another expensive investment gone.
Yeah.
I think this might be our final few moments of this round.
Oh,
With that in mind, though,
let's have a look.
Background.
No damage.
I think that was just a bit too short. If that had landed within the building itself, maybe gone for the very center of it, that could have done some very, very serious damage. But this time,
just gonna appreciate the map aesthetics for a second. So we see this Panzer IV roll in. Oh, see if we can get the crushes here. That'd be amazing.
I'm just gonna sit here and look pretty.
We tried it. So yeah, this is interesting. So the Panzer Fusiliers are just kind of enjoying this now. Brits don't really have a lot of green cover to use on the approach to here, so they're just suffering as the kind of like their factional strength is just not able to be utilized with this many Panzer Fusiliers occupying a lot of the cover areas. That being said, Brits are getting a lot of uses out of grenades in this game. You don't really see that all the time.
No, there doesn't ever seem to be very much reason for it, but getting rid of those buildings definitely seemed to be a prerogative for the Brit player this time round.
We're going to see
No
Jackson
time.
versus Panzer IV. This is risky. I mean, you don't want to be pushing with the Jackson whilst the Grenadiers are there just because of the Faust. And it looks like he either decided to take that elsewhere or had a pathing issue.
So it looked to me like he turned around just before he got there. I think he realised he was going to go in there with his flank exposed, and now he didn't realise the Panzer IV's come around the other side to meet him anyway.
Oh, that's two
No
connecting
infantry
shots
support.
from the Panzer IV.
Like it's getting out of there safe and sound for now. Just needs a good repair. Get it back in. Well, just look at the minimap. You can tell exactly where the dominance lies.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say too much about it, just because you know, one of the main focuses is the maps and the map design. You know, it would be good to have seen a game maybe where there was a little more balance in terms of the two teams playing. But we get an idea of how the site works, how the center is a really cool area, how the negative cover is a real important play, because it just changes engagements through the center. But indirect fire has been very, very good here. It's another thing to mention. Absolutely.
I'm glad we've seen this kind of play, even though it has been fairly one-sided. At least at the beginning, it looked like it was a. But I'm just very, very glad this map got chosen for our first match. I've been waiting to see it in action like this for quite a while, and it's definitely paid off.
M10 is down to the beaver, which is always my favourite.
Last second, but I don't think they've got anything to pursue with. Just an absolute wave of infantry coming at the Brits there, who are all retreating at one go.
Well, this is a really difficult spot for them as well, because in fact, coming out of the central base, again, there's just a lot of negative cover. So walking across that is just, you know, model drop straight from the get-go. In fact, the only viable places they can go is really the outside, but there's a teeny little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the best thing for them now would just push out the west base, go for their munitions point, because there's no negative cover there. They've got a nice stone wall there for green cover to use, and hopefully they can get some less units out there and start capping some territory. But as it stands, they're just back into the breach one more time.
Well, I don't know what they've got up their sleeve, but they've only got 2 minutes to enact it. And I mean, Brumbo's just going to destroy those blobs. Let's just see how it goes. This is the negative cover we were talking about, as they have to cross here. Suppression near instantly.
5-second attack, and that's all they can manage. With no armor likely to come out on the Allied side either. I mean, Gross and Aidensack don't even have the tech opportunities to pull out any armor yet.
They've been down on resources for so long, they wouldn't be able to get anything up. They're not going to win in any aspect. They don't win in veterancy. It's going to take ages. Lightning War Ju-87s have been called in, and I think actually because of the ambulance, this might do damage to the infantry. I think that Brumbo shot was just enough to get the surrender in.
Wash the hands of it. I'm done.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, first impressions. I say first impressions. We had that yesterday. Weird that we didn't get to see this map utilized properly, because, you know, going around the outsides where there's no negative cover, probably more beneficial. Didn't manage to work the center, but, you know, you could easily push the VPs and distract Axis from dominating center. So maybe a couple of things that could be going on map-wise. We'll see what happens in the second game.
Absolutely. I hope this one comes up again at some point soon. See it from a different perspective.
So they're going to get to... They're not going to do the same map for games 1 and 2 and then do a switch up for game 3? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, I just hope that at some point within the finals we'll get to see it played. Different teams, different perspectives.
1 second, I'm just going to bring up the overview just so everyone knows how the game went. Yeah, I mean... 12 minutes, really, 12 to 15 minutes in, we see White Hydra. This is kind of what we expect from them, though. They are, in fairness to any other team, probably one of the best 2v2 teams out there. Not many people that could give Goal Path 2 a good game, but White Hydra would be the ones that can. Let's have a look if Game 2 has started already. And we've actually got Nagano's game. They're actually playing at the moment, which means their opponents did eventually turn up.
Well, we can't help these things, can we?
We should be able to. Monthly bacon, there we go. Hey, Niketas. Okay, alright, let's jump into this one straight away. So, it's going to be obviously the same map for game 2, so we're going to get to see this from the other perspective. We might see kind of a bit of a reversal of what we saw in the last game. I'll bring up the factions that are playing. So, USF Soviets is going to be for White Hydra, and then we've got the same Axis mix of OKW Austere. And oh, what is that? Is that what I think it is? Festung support. I actually think a nice mortar half track might be lovely on this map.
That could be a very interesting move, yeah.
Especially through the center. Speed, fire. Ooh. We want it to happen.
We've also got Firestorm as well. I don't often see that one being used, do you?
I want to say actually yes, because it's not so uncommon anymore. It's the actual having the Stern Pioneers able to get flamethrowers is very beneficial on some urban maps. You normally see it, like I was actually watching Cryptic play someone earlier. He was playing that on Le Glaze, and also the Flammenhetzer is relatively acceptable in the fight against Dushka spam. So I have seen a couple of people seriously use that well. So yeah, wouldn't say it's entirely out of the question, but given his bulletins, maybe we'll see Scavenge Doctrine. Scavenge Doctrine would be good because of course we have a lot of buildings that we could see spawns from. That's something that we didn't really see in the last game from allies. So now playing as Axis, maybe he's going to go Scavenge and utilize that. Do we have anything spawnable from? Yeah, I mean we've got Reserve Army for Thanatos, so we could see that use from Partisans. And interestingly, if the same thing happens, if Axis, obviously Caribes get caught up in that middle engagement again, and then Thanatos is just working the outsides with Partisans, it's going to be a very quick game.
It could be. And there's also the risk, I suppose, of Partisans being used within these centre buildings if they see units retreating, maybe with only one model left, or just with low health in general, dropping a Partisan squad out in the middle of that and catching them on the negative cover. That could be a lot of squads dropped, almost unnecessarily.
Actually, you raise a point. Let's have a look at negative. What's the cover like by these spawns? Well, there's nothing serious, actually.
Not on the outskirts, but the ones towards the middle. You can get in and out of those buildings without much risk. In fact, a lot of them have got just generally good cover around them. In the road, that's the risk.
Well, the fact that there are green cover spots covering the VP after the building spawn is actually interesting. So even if that building does go down for whatever reason, you've actually got a really nice point on both spawns on the outsides. So
yeah. There's something I forgot to mention before as well, just before we get started, is that on this map you can see loads of very deep, muddy trenches, but unlike normally, these ones don't actually give you any cover bonus at all. Worth looking out for.
If you've got a position for that, I'll bring it up on
there's a burned out Panzerfall just south of the middle VP, which has got a nice big muddy trench.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was actually looking at it already. Okay, so no cover bonuses from that.
Nope, definitely not.
Which I think is fair, because previously we've had mud as a negative cover, and you know, it hasn't been particularly popular. But anyway, into game 2, White Hydra versus Caribes, and of course, White Hydra winning game 1 fairly confidently. This time Theodosius is going to go with Mechanized Company. I love seeing this, actually. I really, really do love seeing this.
I mean, I would say it's underrated, but I just think it's not strong enough yet.
It's it's kind of like a really good way to take a really nice early game. You know, you can help deal with a Kubel, you can go and cap something that's far away very quickly, so early harassment is good, you know, the fact that it can repair. But the best bit is, of course, is this ability at 2 CP, withdraw and refit, because you get quite a lot of the cost back. And the best thing you do with this unit is you take the vehicle crew out, you put your echelons in, and then take it off for the money, and you get your vehicle crew that's starting to vet up. So if you decide to go into light vehicles, you've already got veterancy on the crew. And it means USF can actually have a very, very good mechanized game at the start, which is really cool. So I like seeing this. I think it's cool. WC51, I think, no, it hasn't hit the field just yet. We're watching out for it. There it is. There it is. I was just thinking, like, come on, it's any second now that we see it. But yeah, you don't see this too often. But don't be fooled by its size and lack of anything. It is. I don't know where the other 2 crew members are in this. That's one thing that's always puzzled me when 4 crew members get out. Yeah. Anyway, early engagement.
Nice little things though. In fact, Theodosius is doing it right now. You can load that and then just start ferrying your units wherever you want on the map. Using that negative cover, just drive right through the middle. He's going to go and drop them off somewhere where they're useful.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really, really nice mechanism. So, of course, Tier 1 from the Thanatos, Penal Battalions from Soviets, very, very strong units. And look at this. We have the perfect allied light vehicle convoy, Rifleman WC-51, Scout Car Penals, and are they going to go for the base? Because, hey, it's OKW in placement, so they can't do that. But what they can do, because it looks like they're going for that. Let's have a look at the cutoffs. We haven't spoken about the cutoffs in this map. Is it a double cutoff?
It is a double cutoff of the main base. The one that was where the mortar pit was sat originally, that is one of the main cutoffs, right outside their base.
Yeah, so this is great light vehicle play at the start, going for the strategic cutoffs, which means any territories that were held by allies, you will now see, Axis are now flashing because they have been successfully cut by the allies at the start of the game. So this is going to put Caribes all over the place because Race and Iden are just struggling to get these territories under control. There's no point in them pushing out until they can get this under control. And currently, not really much of an answer against the light vehicles. Could be losing a Volksgrenadier. Negative cover, that would be lethal.
Yep, there he goes.
Very, very unfortunate start to the game. It's good to see White Hydra. They're trying to close this out very quickly there.
I've got to be careful about going in because that flak placement will rip those vehicles to shreds. But and we have our first bug. we have a flak placement that is outside the playable area.
Oh, Thanatos. That was. I mean, he could have and should have got out of the vehicle to retreat with the penals. Didn't quite get there in time, meaning that 5 penals went down with the destruction of the scout car. So, bit of a loss, but still we don't have the important territory control from allies that we were looking, from Axis that we were looking for at the start of the game.
Managed to get back their cut off outside their base, so they've got fuel that's in connection now. But it looks like Thanatos and Theodosius are just jumping all over that fuel point.
I have to say, like, a very good early gameplay from allies can be devastating. Really, really can.
Absolutely.
Got
another got a clown car with a flamethrower. There it goes. Takes out a nice MP42.
Oh, he's recruiting.
And even recruit. Why?
He's gonna set up.
Run, you fool! Go on.
Yeah, gotta be careful.
If this had been the
here.
negative
Hopefully
cover road, that
Aiden
would've
is
been
paying
negative.
attention. He is. The Faust is gonna go off. Not enough to kill it. And Aiden's trying to rush his penal battalions over to help deal with the problem.
Yeah, I think he's just going to have to abandon this scout car, or at least try and waylay them, because there's more Grenadier squads coming. They've got their own Fausts ready to go.
I think he's getting away with it. He's going to have to pull his Grenadiers off to deal with the penal battalions coming up to the mortar. And they've now taken medium cover positions. Now they're going for close range. And these squads
I think he's
are not
noticed.
gonna survive.
No, too late, I think.
Yeah, these squads aren't going to survive once the WC-51 comes in as well. He's able to chase. Now with the squad retreats, WC-51 is going to be able to take any more territories. Look at the squad wipes.
Oh no, squad
Oh
wipe
my
after squad
God.
wipe all the way. And just to give you some perspective, it looks like Race at the moment has only got 2 Volk squads and he's got his Raketten, but it looks like on the other side of it, Aiden's only got 3 functioning squads really, and a mortar team that needs to get back. It's not looking good. They are vastly outnumbered.
Yeah, I mean, I will probably join the bandwagon that says it may be a GG situation already. But this is actually goes to show, like, Theodosius Thanatos have clearly looked at the way you can be efficient on this map, and it is light vehicles. They went straight down the center, taking advantage of the speed boost that you get from the road, and just dominated the strategic points from the start. Huge players. You have to have respect for players that can play a map as well as they just have done.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to hammer home that point as well, that M20 did just rolled right in, straight through the barbed wire that was up north that the Axis must have put in early, but that's obviously not going to stop M20. I imagine they were hoping to keep that point for themselves, just because it's a bit of a safety point, but it's not happened.
Fortunately, though, we are witnessing one of the things in Company of Heroes that it doesn't allow you to close the game early due to base defenses. So especially when you've got OKW rotational flak emplacements, it becomes incredibly difficult to actually push the base. So it looks like we're going to have to wait right outside the enemy territory with the VPs for this game to end. And that is about 4 to 5 minutes off at the moment.
Note for the map maker is that we've got one of their flak emplacements outside the playable area, so even though it belongs to the correct team, it's simply not going to fire anything and it can't be destroyed either. So one base defense which actually doesn't have any use.
I feel like some kind of sneaky. Oh, we're going to see the T-70 on. Could sneak up that side and deal some huge damage. Aiden Zach has had enough. Isn't even going to hit surrender with his teammate. He's just abandoned him. It's like, leave the Brits. Leave the Brits in
with each other.
Not the Brits. Sorry. Leave OKW to their ways. They'll be fine.
He push, considering that half of it is AI. And he manages to pull off the Faust on the M20.
He's clearly got a reason to play. The odds of stringing this back are very, very low, especially as the T-70 is now involved in the fight. Going to clear out the MG-34 very easily. Penal battalions moving up to the Grenadiers. There's really not much that can happen here, although 2 Fausts from the Volksgrenadiers might cause a very, very small temporary issue.
Looks as though AI is active. All that is squad.
It's a shame, you know, we've actually got the Jaeger light infantry. Oh no, it's stormtroopers. Oh, that's deceiving. Ah, that's very deceiving.
What deceiving is that they look exactly
Deceiving is that they look very similar with the G43 upgrade. But we do actually have like scavenge doctrine, so I was hoping we would see some kind of external map building pops. It was not to be.
It's starting to raise the question as to whether or not Race has realised that he's now playing alone.
I don't know. I mean, maybe they weren't on voice comms. It's plausible. You know,
We have a fresh
I want to just point out though, like, White Hydra are a very, very good 2v2 team. I would challenge anybody to go up against them and last 10 minutes. They are very good players. But of course, yeah, you know, a bit of a mismatch there. But most importantly, we get to see a little bit of the map, and we've already spotted a couple of bugs. So if you guys want to join us in !vote in chat, send a vote and a feedback point about Poltava, I believe it is. Puppet Master, there's always an exception or two in chat. Always. Oh, we have Lord Rommel in here.
Hello.
Hello, Rommel. Indeed. Got all the celebrities. Okay, so that's going to be a 2-1 for that series. Fairly straightforward. We may as well catch on what's going on with Nagano and Four Horsemen of Apocalypse. I'll find out how their games are going at the moment.
Excellent.
Make Dawn of War 3 freight again. Yes, Sergeantess. I will speak to Relic and have them do that. Hey guys who have joined, by the way, we just had our first of the semi-finals. Bit of an easy game for White Hydra. They're going to be the first of the finalists. There is Gold Path 2. They may still be playing their series at the moment, or it may have finished. We'll go over and check the brackets and see what's going on there.
And well, under no circumstances can I acknowledge that I know the map maker of that map, nor do I know which maps you've made either. However, if you wanted to drop him a message from me and tell him that it's an absolute prat, please do so.
Okay. Gold Path. It looks like they're going to play their second game, unless that hasn't been updated. So no, yeah, they've got another game, which is cool. So we'll wait around for that one. Now I think the map that they are playing currently is Normandy, if I recall what I saw before.
Ah, right.
I'm just waiting to hear back what's
I restart my game because we know what it can be like.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Slick looking brackets. Oh, Tonix, that is the brackets for Battlefly, which is mainly what Relic is using at the moment for tournaments. It looks like we will get a chance to cast some more of the semi-final matches before going on to the finals. Finals are going to be very good because if we do have Gold Path 2 and White Hydra, they're two very, very strong teams. We've seen them in we saw them in 2v2 Halloween Cup, we saw them in 1-for-1, we saw them in what was it called? Vet 3 events actually. So we know these teams very well. We've seen them play and actually they do produce really good games. So finals definitely worth sticking around for later on. I just hope that we get to see some of the maps we haven't seen yet.
And there's limited opportunity. There's 9 or 10 maps that are on display today. We won't get to see them all these finals, but at least we'll get to see some of the ones that people have already played, ones that they know hopefully well enough by now that they can get away with some tactics they've tested in the earlier rounds.
How long have the maps been out available before this tournament?
Been available for quite some time, but they've gone through a couple of iterations. Unfortunately, not as many iterations as we'd like. But the 2v2 tournament, I don't think was made. I'm actually it was made common knowledge, but it wasn't forced on anyone's faces for quite some time. So people who have planned to do the tournament probably didn't think to check the maps too early. They probably had a month or so to really get sunk back into them, but. Yeah, Rommel's just sent me the message. It looks like back in August, really get into them if they wanted to have a look out for them. But I imagine quite a few people missed them.
All right. Wow, they've been out since August. I didn't know that. I would have picked them up myself, Bacon, if I'd have known. I've got the game. It's here.
Excellent.
Let me know when you're in the party.
Nah, sorry. Try me again.
That worked?
Come on, game. Come on. Come on.
Just give us a second,
Boy.
guys, whilst we...
Good
There we
boy.
go. There we go.
No.
Okay, so 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse versus Gold Path 2. I'm glad we get to see these guys again. And also Nagano and Scotch, because it used to be Nagano Serrano, and I think they have another member of their team, which we've seen in the 2v2 finals, that they switch in. But I can't remember which combination is kind of like the dream team, the big kahuna. I have a feeling Scotch Nagano is the typical powerhouse. Chat will probably know.
Yeah, I imagine they do. Because while we're waiting for this to load as well, folks, I just wanted to remind you all, if you see any little bugs or you see anything of interest while we're streaming these, please don't hesitate. All of these maps have got their own workshop page under Relic Contents. You can drop them feedback and comments there. Or on the Company of Heroes official forums, there's a separate thread set up for every single map which has made it to the finals. Please don't hesitate to give these people feedback. This is one of the only opportunities that they really get, so let's not waste it. If you see anything that you like or see anything that you don't like, don't hesitate to let them know.
Oh, look, that lamppost is like a bit weird.
Talking about.
Just want to look at some of the aesthetics on this. I'm not sure why the lights are on during the day.
Now, on that note, right, this is just to give you a bit of a... No, I'm not getting offensive. Just, this is one of those little things that's a difference between Company of Heroes 1 and 2. In that, in Company of Heroes 1, if you simply just set the weather settings to dusk, dawn, or night, the lights, every single light would automatically come on. Whereas KOTOR, you have to set it up separately. But if you go and look at some of the industrial buildings around here, some of them have little lamps over the doorways. But unfortunately, no longer. I think if you head up north, there's a nice square building which has been bombed out.
The square building?
But it's square.
How far north? You mean square with the dome, kind of like cylinder roof? Yeah, okay.
Outside its door, it's got a little lamp.
Oh, I see.
It's up no more.
What a shame.
Yeah.
All right, let's just, because I think actually the scores, we know the scores already, don't we? Because we're jumping into this. This is the second semi-final series. The first one was very, very quick between White Hydra and Caribes. So now we're going to see War Machine and Lucky from 4 Horsemen of Apocalypse try and take down one of the most godly 2v2 teams on the scene, which is Nagano and Scotch. Gold Path 2.
Some of the games from Nagano and Scotch yesterday, and they are definitely pulling their weight. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. If I'm not mistaken, they also tried this same map yesterday, so they must have some experience already.
I think they will, and
It's
actually...
like Nagano is going straight for the south fuel point, the one that's probably the hardest to cap. There's 2 territory points to also cap to link it back to your base, so he's going straight for that.
One of the interesting things is this map appeared in a previous tournament as a 1v1. So there might be some kind of familiarity with the map and where to go.
Am I right in thinking that Barton's not around this time for competition? Because he had a very the Barton had a very historic fight on this one before, if I remember rightly.
Barton, it really impressed me actually, because typically I realized this is the first time I really realized this with Barton, is that Barton is capable of winning games quickly. And it made me realize that it's so deliberate when he drags this game, because Barton, Barton goes to church on a Sunday, right? And it was the finals, and he's like, "I've got to win this quickly." So even in the finals against a player who is very well known, very potent, he still manages to close the game. All games in like 5 to 10 minutes. And we're just like, Barton, why pull this out now? So
right, so just a bit of preamble, folks, because this is one of the maps that we had a chance to look at yesterday. This is one of those cases where the 2 munitions points are a little bit further north than anywhere else. The north seems like a very powerful place to try and take, but it looks like Nagano and Scotch have gone way south to begin with. They've got all these resource points at the bottom, and that is going to really add up their total.
It will, yeah, especially if they can 50-50 on the north, because they still keep their munitions, but all of these strategic points down here, the allies aren't paying attention, are going to add up to huge resources, whereas just keeping the north is less resources, but maybe a little more security in terms of Brits for cover and buildings for their MGs. So I guess they're going to have to play that advantage, whether they want the teching or whether they want the security. And actually, they probably make the right decision. That being said, Nagano and Scotch, they are going to be very familiar on how to deal with these situations. So I have a feeling that these MGs are not going to be staying in buildings for long.
No, in particular, the northern buildings here, the 2 large brick buildings, have got some very big blind spots. So sticking an MG in there is all well and good, but grenades can easily fly over those walls and catch you off guard if you aren't paying attention.
Wagen here, again, trying to do that capping. Sensible decision to get it out of there, as that is going to be really what is bringing in a lot of the resources quickly. And later into the game, we may even see strategic decaps. A lot of maps in this tournament do have quite aggressive strategic decaps. This has got 3 strategic points to actually cut off resources, which I think is fair. I think 3 is very fair in a 2v2.
Yeah. Some of the other ones that we've seen so far have got some very aggressive 2 territory point cutoffs, but mortars landing on that northern brick building, so that's not going to take too many shots before it starts taking some serious damage. Be careful, he's going to have to... oh, there he goes, evacuating already. Well, that squad takes any more losses.
So let's have a look. We've got Scotch at the moment still committing to his tier 1 as austere. He's going to bring out a sniper on top of the great early game they've already had, so not really that focused on the huge advantage and resources that they have on the field right now, which maybe suggests he's going to just get as much as he can out of tier 1, tier 2, and then go for something late game as early as possible, maybe something from tier 4, which is very cool if they get that done. The sniper, of course, is just going to pick away at the opponent's manpower over time. Brits are not really going to be able to chase that down unless he specifically goes for a doctrine like mobile assault, where he can get the commandos out. Even a little risky, so very good early position for Nagano and Scotch. Still no commanders picked at this stage of the game, which is always nice. You know, both players get a little bit of a feel for what's happening on the map, what the early units are. Maybe they're going to be able to pick something that provides a nice counter, or something that makes the mid-game a little bit easier.
Something that's worth noting on here as well, especially where Nagano and Scotch have got most of their units clumped up at the moment. This centre area's got 2 roadways, both of which are negative cover. If you're retreating units, especially one that's only got 1 model there, the chances of getting picked off is increased. That sniper going to have some very serious opportunities where it might be able to pluck off those units, or at least whittle them down so that they're in a bad position to go as they start retreating towards their own base. The majority of his forces in retreat right now. Bad attack down south from the looks of things.
I think that was the Brit mortar pit just wiped a squad from Scotch there. That may be the first shot the mortar pit fired, so would have caught him completely off guard. Certainly wasn't actively dodging it. But I think one of the big things here is just, you know, this constant attention to detail on resources. It's a really good thing that we saw White Hydra doing it, we see Nagano Scotch doing it. Why? I'm pretty sure he watched. that minefield go
No,
down.
though, if this were real, that squad would have just bum baited him.
I imagine so, yeah. Focus on the map right now is going to be the mortar pit. Scotch is going to have to try and deal with that. With the mortar pit.
absolutely.
Fortunately, one has just been dropped. So if that could be recruited by Osted, they're going to have 2 mortars to deal with the Brit mortar, which is more than enough.
Now, as it stands at the moment, just looking at resources, because we can see more than, obviously they can't see their opponent's income. Nagano and Scotch have started to claim, but they still don't own the northern fuel point. But with plus 32 income on their fuel, that's going to give them a massive advantage.
Yeah, it's a little bit strange in scenario because War Machine is actually just trying to hold off the north on his own. We just see Lucky is trying to push the mid, but his teammate could really do some help in just locking this area down. They could be pushing together, and the north is actually a good side for them to go because, as we've already spoken, that the center is going to be hard to push just based on that negative cover line. They're going to have to go where there's sight blockers, true sight, where there's not negative cover.
Yeah.
And the north is probably going to be one of the best ways for that. Even in the south, there's a lot to cross and access with the long range advantage. It's going to be easier for them. We see Volksgrenadiers here. I think they're going for the sniper.
Like, yeah. Give opportunities. There's loads of open lanes on this map. Hogs managed to jump into a building, but they aren't firing on the Brit sniper, or choosing to avoid him, going instead for the captain.
Yeah, the auto targeting at its finest. I mean, really, it should auto track. I know they had this issue with vehicles before because you used to get an issue where the vehicles would not target the highest priority unit in its vision range, and I think there are some cases where that might still be happening with infantry because, you know, really you would go for the sniper, wouldn't you, if it was within range? But maybe there's something in there that states otherwise. As for the center right now, AT gun has come out to help against the Lukes. It's actually within range at the moment. The riflemen are going to try and get a rifle nade, but the first shot misses. Rifle nade has been activated. Just got to wait for it to fire. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I always feel really bad when I see that happen because, you know, he actually had the anti-tank grenade set, you know, it was set and activated. It just took so long.
Cost him a lot more models. There's a nice back and forth up in the north there, especially his main road. It seems to have lots of combat going off all times, which just shows how much each player seems to be valuing it. But
Lost another US unit there. Oh, that's the AT gun.
territory
That's a
control
really
down south.
Okay, so
Gano's got this completely locked.
This is really bad, Bacon. If OKW gets away with this AT gun, it is really a horrible situation for USF because the USF AT gun is you know, very long range, but it doesn't have. You know, it's got good rate of fire, but it just doesn't have that penetration, which is you know, you might think it's bad, but when you go up against USF with that tank, anti-tank gun, and you capture it and use it against USF, and they're paper-thin vehicles, it is phenomenally good. So actually that USF AT gun should be a focal point for Nagano and Scotch to reclaim right now.
Panzer 2's moved up, I imagine, to try and cover it so a squad can grab that. It looks like there's a Pioneer squad moving up and they're about to snag it for themselves.
Yeah, it's a really important capture. Nice teamwork here as well, because of course the Lukes is going to buy some time for the AT gun to get out of there. Scotch a little bit lax on the micro there, didn't actually get the AT gun moving out. The Raketten looks like it might be trying to blow up the AT gun just to stop it being reclaimed. It's a real fight for this, actually. And
It's only got a slither of health, so it'll probably go down before the squad does. Yeah, there they go.
there it is. Personally, I would have thought maybe they'd put up a little bit more effort to to actually try and get that in their own control. But hey, sometimes if it's too contested, it just works to deny it to your opponent. No shame there whatsoever. Let's have a look at the tactical map going on at the moment. So once again, all these strategic points, this is a huge amount of resources just coming from strategic points, only really being defended by Stern Pioneers now that we see Kubelwagen has gone down earlier on in the game. And the fact that the Stern Pioneers are just constantly pushing the strategic territory means that Lucky is just occupied. He's not actually going up to help the Brit player, who's actually doing a very good job of holding that north side of the map. Lucky just isn't able to get over there in time. You know, he did have the ambulance, which was... Where is the ambulance died? Oh no, the ambulance is still there, sorry. So, yeah, that ambulance, when he does tech up to Major, should allow him to be a little more helpful and constant on the field, but...
That Panzerfuge's coming in, it's going to try and get the sappers on the retreat.
Oh, finally, this time the anti-tank grenade is responsive.
That was one lucky Welshman.
Absolutely.
A Scottish sniper has just claimed his 16th kill. This guy's really getting his money's worth out of him.
Absolutely, yeah. 16 kills in 13 minutes is very good, and that will only start to get more and more. It hits double. I mean, it's already paid for itself, I think, now. Let's have a look what we see on the field for Nagano. Oh, it's
completely missed
Stuka.
The Brit sniper will down at some point within the last few minutes.
Yeah, Brit Sniper would have gone down to the Grenadiers. Just checking out the Stuka that's on the field. So a bit of an investment into mechanized from Nagano. Interesting to see where Scotch goes. Is he going to go for that? Yes, it is. Battle Phase 3. So we spoke about this earlier. He invested heavily in Tier 1, carrying that torch, and bringing out the heavy vehicles as quick as possible. It's a nice... I like that strategy, to be honest, for OKW Austere, because they're making really good use of the medium to light vehicles, and then allowing Austere to just play, you know, play with a lot of Tier 1, which is kind of necessary for them to be efficient.
Grenadiers up on the northwest side have managed to just park outside the mortar pit. They might be able to take it down if there's nothing to contest them. So the Sapper squad come in, and they back out.
I wonder if he uses the Stuka here, because Brace is about to finish. And
have to time it well. Yeah, absolutely. He saw the brace go down, so
yeah, there it is. There it is. He's bringing it up now. You've also got the mortars going to deliver some shots. So it's perfect timing, really, if he uses this. And it's not being repaired, so he may have a chance. Did it fire?
No, it's not yet.
Oh, okay. We just had one of the tiers go down there. So. Sticky situation for the Lukes, takes a anti-tank grenade. Not really anything to back it up though. Yeah, AT gun is trying to move up, but again, this is really overextending if he pushes that too far forward. He doesn't want to lose that unit, because against the mechanized loadout, that's such an important AT gun.
Absolutely.
I'm just surprised to not see any work at all from Nagano using this Stuka Zufus, and we might see the recon is up from Scotch, but he knows where that mortar pit is, and I think maybe he's just not confident to push it too far forward and get in case it gets caught out. Nice incendiary grenade.
Here it goes.
Oh, this is brutal. It's going to be on the ambulance. Look, instant surrender. As soon as that came down, surrender was called. That was a good one. That was actually you know, not a bad game. Nagano and Scotch, they're just very, very good at that. Like, one of them dominates the resources, then they both kind of push up on a stranglehold of allies. But yeah, I do definitely commend that whole OKW, aggressive, takes mechanized, Scotch, heavy tier 1, and into tier 4 on Battle Phase 3. Love it.
It's nice to see as well, especially since with 1v1s you don't get a chance to see the team play, even if it is the same faction. Good team play is always a pleasure to watch. Good team play with different factions, spot on. Very impressive.
I agree. It's always one of these things as well. I wonder how much of this is planned. I can see Scotch is actually in the chat right now in Nagano. They say that game 1 they did really good, which is interesting. And we know like game 1 took ages. White Hydra's series was quick, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
It was really quick, but it does mean that we're going to be going into the finals pretty soon. What I'm going to do, Monolithic Bacon, because I want to make sure that everything is ready and running smoothly for this, we're going to go over to a wait screen, and then we're going to come back, have a quick chat about some of the maps, get you guys voting. If you've been watching over the last 2 days on Duke Jason's stream before this, voting for the maps that you like, and providing some feedback. I'll post that link up in the chat now. So you guys can use the Survey Monkey. Relics just basically asked that you guys vote on what you like, which I think is a very good idea, and you should definitely be contributing that to the community. So yeah, we're going to go over to the waiting screen, and we'll be back probably in about 5 to 10 minutes, fully equipped and ready for Gold Path 2 versus White Hydra. And that's going to be an incredible finals. We've cast it so many times before, and it's always been some of the best 2v2 play that we get in the game. So guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back very, very soon.
See you soon.